My family found out I'm rich, and now they're demanding I cover a $35,000 vacation even after I already paid off all their mortgages. My family just found out I have money, and now they think it is my job to shell out $35,000 so they can go on some fancy vacation, even after I already cleared the mortgages on their houses. So here is the deal. I am 46 years old, female, married, and we have 3 kids. About 10 years back, we hit the jackpot, not lottery money, but enough to make life a lot easier. I put in a lot of hours, put my back into my work, and on top of that, I made some smart investments that really paid off. Over the last decade, our savings just kept growing. My husband, bless him, always saw it as my money. We do not have any fancy legal agreement or anything like that, but in our house, it is just understood I worked for it, it is mine. When the first big check hit the account, my husband and I already had a plan. First order of business, wipe out our mortgage. That was the dream for years. We bought a new car, nothing too crazy, but something nice and reliable. Then we picked up a vacation house in one of our favorite little spots. Most of the year we rented out to a sweet family who treats it like their own. After that, we set aside college funds for all 3 kids. Each one got enough set aside to cover 5 years of school. Anything they do not spend, they can put toward buying their own place someday. As the money kept coming, thanks to both my work and those investments that just would not quit, I figured I should do something for family too. My husband has 2 sisters. One of them has 5 kids. My brother has a couple of his own. So we made sure all of the nieces and nephews got the same kind of college fund as our own kids. Same amount, same rules, I would cover what was needed, but only for school. My oldest niece was already a year into college, so I paid her parents back what they had already spent to make sure it was fair across the board. She managed to graduate in 4 years and even had some cash left over. I asked a close friend who does accounting to figure out what would help my brother and one of my sisters-in-law the most with their mortgages. In the end, I paid off most of both their homes. My folks got a nice vacation out of the deal since their house was already paid for. As for my in-laws, one sister-in-law rents, so I handed over some cash to help them build up their own savings. On top of all that, a chunk of the money went to charities we care about, both locally and overseas. I even set up a few college funds for kids of some of our closest friends. As a little treat, I paid for a family vacation, both my side and my husband's side, so everyone could have a good time together. At that point, everyone seemed real thankful. But there is always one. My husband's sister, the one with the 5 kids, she is one of those people who cannot stand not being the center of attention. Either she or one of her kids always has to be the star of the show. To my face, she plays nice enough, but I know for a fact she has spent years talking behind my back. She makes snide little remarks about me, about my job, about how I live, always phrased just carefully enough that if you call her on it, you look like the crazy one. My go-to move is to act like I do not get what she is saying and pick apart her words until she shuts up. Works almost every time. Over the last few years, she kept dropping hints that since I have money, I should foot the bill for some fancy all-inclusive vacation for her whole family. Meanwhile, they have a nice pile of savings, money they originally planned to use for their kids' college. But since I already covered that, they have barely touched it. Then the pandemic hit, and she went quiet. Her and her husband took everything super seriously, barely left the house. Once things opened up again, she threw a combined birthday party for herself and her son, since her kid really wanted one. No problem. We showed up with presents, something for both of them. The birthday boy got a gift card so he could pick out some camping gear he had been wanting. My sister-in-law got a gift card she could use for whatever she wanted, plus some sunscreen and drinks since we figured she was planning some kind of trip, or at least that is what we thought. Then the vacation talk started. She asked where we were heading that summer. We told her we were staying close to home, renting a cabin for a week. Real simple. We would still be cooking and running to the store ourselves. Nothing fancy. She gave her usual "oh that sounds nice" speech, then casually said they were still figuring out their plans. My husband and I both saw it coming a mile away, so we started rattling off ideas, hoping to head it off. We suggested visiting some family for a weekend, maybe trying out a campsite with activities for the kids. But nope, here it comes. She pulls out her phone and shows us this resort she found online. It did look pretty nice, not over the top fancy, but definitely way nicer than our cabin. All-inclusive, water slides for the kids, spa for the adults, the whole 9 yards. And the price tag? $35,000 for all 7 of them. My husband, God love him, just said, "That is a lot, but good thing you saved so much." That is when she dropped the bomb. "Oh, we are not paying. We figured you would, as my birthday gift." I swear I just sat there stunned. She actually expected me to hand her $35,000 as a birthday present because I have money. She started laying out her case, how I have already promised things to the other nieces and nephews, how we are family, how it would not be a big deal for me. The whole room went quiet. Even the kids stopped playing to see how we would respond. My husband just started laughing, thinking she was joking. My father-in-law just stared. And I sat there, probably looking like a fish with my mouth hanging open. But nope, she was dead serious. "You have the money. You will not even notice it is gone." This is the same woman who has spent years trashing me to anyone who will listen, all while acting sweet to my face. Even my husband and her own dad have called her out on it. I just sat there, watching her lay it on thick, her big eyes, her fake sweet voice, listing off all the reasons why I owed her this vacation. After a minute, I found my voice and gave her the one word she did not want to hear: no. She blinked at me like she could not believe it. "But you have the money." I shrugged. "That is true. So you can pay for it." I could. She clapped her hands. "Oh, great. But I am not going to." She started sputtering, saying they deserved it, saying I would not even miss the money because we are family. I told her flat out, we might be family, but that does not mean I owe her a $35,000 vacation. Sure, everyone deserves a break after the mess of the last few years, but no, I would definitely notice if 35 grand vanished from my account. She and her husband kept going, saying I was selfish, saying I owed it to them. I shut that down real fast. I told her she has never respected me, my work, or what I gave up to earn that money. She has never appreciated that I paid off her house, covered her kids' schooling, and even set aside money to help them buy homes. On top of that, she has called me names, told people my husband should leave me, and made me the bad guy every chance she got. She tried to lie her way out of it, but even her own kids spoke up. One of them had actually caught her on video talking trash while he was filming some TikTok. He played it right there. Her husband went silent. Realizing she was not getting her dream vacation, she tried one last time. "Well, at least pay for our flights and let us use your vacation house." "No, our vacation house, the one I usually rent out to that local family most of the year. Well, thanks to COVID, they are still living there because they are either unable or too scared to travel anywhere else right now." So I look my sister-in-law dead in the eye and say, not gonna happen. First off, the folks renting the place cannot leave. Second, you are in no position to be making demands. That gift card we gave you has plenty of money on it, you could easily put that toward a trip if you want one so bad. Third, we all already went on a vacation that I paid for, so technically, you already had your free holiday. Fourth, if you want more money, maybe go find a better paying job, you do have a degree, after all. And last, and this is the big one, you treat me like garbage, always have, and now you think I am just gonna hand over my hard-earned cash like it is nothing? That is when she turns on the tears, trying to get her dad to take her side. But my father-in-law, bless him, actually agreed with me 100%. He told her straight up he understands why I am saying no, that he has seen firsthand how much work I put in, and all the sacrifices me and my husband made along the way. My husband, though, he was furious. I could see it in his face, he was done. He did not sugarcoat a thing when he told his sister there was no chance in hell we were ever paying for her trip, and he asked her how she even had the nerve to demand it in the first place. After that, we packed up our kids, said goodbye, and went home. Later that night, the phone rang. It was my mother-in-law. Now, she has a bit of a habit of enabling her favorite kid, and unfortunately, that would be this same sister-in-law. She tried her best to lay on the guilt trip about how hard life was for them before I came into money and how much I helped them, so I should not be so harsh now. My husband took that call, and he handled it like a champ. He explained everything, laid it all out, and after a long talk, she finally came around and saw our side. Now, here is the part that actually made me laugh. Turns out, sister-in-law's own kids were absolutely furious with her for pulling this stunt. They know we have always treated them well, and I guess they were scared this would mess up the relationship we have with them. They ended up coming over not long after, and we sat down and had a real honest talk. I made sure they knew we did not blame them for any of this, their parents' choices are not on them. I also explained why we are not just handing out money left and right anymore. The youngest one, I will be honest, seemed to lean more toward defending mom and dad, but the rest of them said they completely understood. They know all about the college funds we set up for them, plus the money set aside to help them with a house one day. I made it crystal clear that we would never ask them to go against their parents while they are still living at home. They stayed for dinner, we had a nice evening, and then they headed back. As of now, those kids barely talk to their parents unless they absolutely have to. They do their chores, let them know where they are, the basics, but nothing more. On top of that, some other family members, who normally jump to my sister-in-law's defense, started getting involved. Turns out, she had been sending them texts and calling them, trying to spin the whole thing to make me look like the bad guy. But then her own son, the birthday boy, shut all that down with one simple Facebook post where he shared that video he recorded, the one where she was bad-mouthing me. That flipped everything upside down. Suddenly, a whole bunch of relatives who usually took her side were calling her out instead. Some of them even told me they were sorry for believing her in the past. A few said they felt stuck in the middle because they saw both sides, but most of them saw her true colors for the first time. The only part that still kind of gets to me is how my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, are caught right in the middle of all this mess. She is the kind of person who always wants everyone to get along, no matter what. And I know some folks out there are probably wondering why I do not just hand over the money to keep the peace. But the truth is, it is not just about the money. It is about how she has treated me for years long before I ever had a dime to my name. And even if she had been sweet as pie, the truth is, I do not feel comfortable just handing out cash like that. It is not who I am. So I guess the only thing left to ask is, do you think I am wrong for saying no?